AITA for ordering food that my husband can't eat? I 28F have been with my husband 28 meters for 9 years. Married for 2 this summer. We have a daughter who is 7 years. We rarely even fight, and if we do it has been more major and serious things. But this, what to me was a small issue, is now turning into the biggest argument we have ever had. So the problem is that me and our daughter loves spicy food. I always have, and ever since I felt comfortable with her trying it. She has loved it too. Sure, we couldn't compete in a spice eating contest, and even though our tolerance is high, it is not extreme. But my husband, he hates it. He is one of those people who thinks spice is unnecessary and only likes to use salt and pepper. This is not a problem. Sometimes I make a batch that suits his taste. Another one for me and our daughter. Sometimes me and our daughter will just eat how it is to his liking. As too little spices is easier to handle than too much as it would be for him. Now this Saturday he was away with friends to go pick up some car parts. It was a 12-hour drive in total, and they left at about 9. I went ahead and ordered from an Indian place that our daughter has as her favorite. My husband also likes this place and just orders something mild when we eat from there. Since my husband was not home, I did not order him anything as I thought that they would have eaten on the road. When he got home, he greeted us, then immediately went to the fridge and saw some boxes left of food. When he opened them, he obviously noticed he could not eat any of them. Now we argued just for about 5 minutes of this. The consensus of the argument was him saying that I should have either thought about him and ordered him something, or I should have asked him if he had eaten or wanted anything. I argued that I would have probably done so if it was just for a few hours he was away. But he was away for over 12 hours and came home about 4 hours after we usually eat. So I assumed he had eaten. Now he has barely talked. He cooked his dinner for himself because, in his words, I can't be bothered. He texted me from the living room when I was cooking for me and our daughter that he hoped I was happy to have my food my way now. He is extremely weird about this. He has never ever acted this way about something like this, and I am getting even more confused by it all. Your husband should have let you know when he was coming home. He was planning to eat dinner even though he was getting home hours after dinner time. Late enough. You would have reasonably thought he would have fed himself somewhere along the road. NTA for not bring a mind reader. Any reasonable person would have thought, oh, husband won't be home for dinner. Now is a good time for the kid and I to get some hot food. NTA 1. He went out 2. You ordered food 3. He was away for over 12 hours and thought he would have eaten 4. 3 is a reasonable assumption. 5. Why in the tikka masala would you be the 6. He's a big boy and shouldn't be acting like that. 7. NTA It was reasonable to think he would have eaten already, especially with it being 4 hours past dinner time. He also could have called on the way back and said something about not having eaten yet. Had he done that, you likely would have made sure something was available. There is nothing wrong to treating yourself and your daughter to a favorite food while he is away. NTA Your husband seems to have some underlying issue. Maybe he's feeling underappreciated in some respect. In or out of the home. Undervalued. Or low self-esteem for some reason. He's making a big deal out of an issue that isn't an issue at all. People only do that when they're holding more than the actual issue in their hearts. My fiancé has done what you've done before. Depending on my self-esteem any given day. Sometimes it stings. But that's not their fault. Nor is it their problem. You nor my fiancé are mind readers. Your husband was away from home. It was normal to act as though he would take care of himself while away. Basically, altogether what I am saying is you have absolutely not done anything wrong and your Husband is seriously overreacting and seems to be acting out like a child rather than examining his deeper emotions and stabilizing himself. None of this is your responsibility. But if you want to extend an olive branch to him, compose yourself with confidence that you are NTA, and nothing he says or does can change that. Then ask for a conversation with him and ask him if there's something he's feeling deeper than the food issue. Is he feeling underappreciated in some way? Is he having trouble accepting external value from others? He needs to get to the bottom of his super weird and extreme reaction, and if you want to do the emotional labor of helping him, it probably will give him a better chance of figuring it out. But you definitely cannot concede to his wild actions. He's a husband and a father and can't be behaving this way. Ultimately, once you get to the bottom of this with him, I would suggest having a conversation about what is acceptable conflict behavior and what is not. How he's behaving is definitely not okay. If he keeps refusing a conversation for days, it's time to hit up a couples therapist, because there's absolutely no practical reason why he's gotten this upset and acted this way. NTA. He was out of town and didn't come home until several hours after dinner. It was 100% reasonable to expect that he would have already eaten. But he is butthurt because he thinks your dinner should have been chosen with his tastes in mind. NTA. Since it sounds like you weren't expecting him home for dinner. And he wasn't home for dinner. He came home 4 hours later, expecting you to anticipate his needs. You aren't a mind reader. It sounds like he was hangry and taking it out on you. That's not an excuse for his attitude, just a possible explanation. NTA. He is picking a fight, and it's not about the food. What happened during the 12-hour drive to pick up car parts? He's transferring. What happened on the road trip? Did he really go for car parts? Do you know his friends that he went with? Sounds like something else upset him and he's taking it out on you. Hopefully nothing serious or relationship ending. But if he's away that long, it's reasonable that he would have gotten food, or at least messaged to ask you. NTA. Seems like he's using this as an excuse to be annoyed or mad at you. Little bit suspicious in my eyes. NTA. Husband is a butt. I would not have ordered anything either, expecting that he would have eaten in the road. He needs to get over himself. You didn't anticipate his wants for when he arrived 4 hours after a meal. How very dare you, madam. NTA. This is such a minor thing and, by the sounds of it, not something that would normally set his ass on fire. Something clearly climbed up his butt when he was on his trip, and you were the easiest, closest, safe target for him to vent his bile. I'd call him on that and ask what happened. I would venture to say this argument has nothing to do with food. Seems as though he was in a bad mood when he got home. Might need to talk things out and see if the two of you can figure out what really is bothering him. Man, your husband's a little baby. NTA. Something by else is going on. Especially if this is really out of character for him. There is something is isn't telling you. My guess is something happened on his trip. Info. Why are you cooking? Guess I'm confused by the timings here. You and your daughter ate 4 hours before he got home. He cooked. Then you cooked? NTA. Your husband is acting like an entitled toddler with some stupid passive-aggressive nonsense. NTA. He was away for 12 hours and arrived home 4 hours after you and your daughter ate. It was a more than reasonable assumption that he would have eaten, or that he would handle food himself upon arriving home, or that he would communicate with you if he wanted you to have food ready for him. You ordered spicy food while he was away instead of while he was there. You're not only NTA, You were very considerate. NTA. My man's probably just hangry. Tell him he's not himself when he's hungry and hand him a Snickers. You married a helpless child who cannot or does not know how to pick up his own food while traveling. That's the only explanation that makes his behavior make any sense. Sometimes, my husband has to drive to our capital city for work. It's about 4 hours each way. Guess what he does? He takes the opportunity to find something he enjoys eating that the kids and I aren't into so much. Your husband is either stupid in general or was intentionally being stupid about this one thing for no good reason. NTA.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.